Let's see for it. Okay. All right. Oh, I do need to share my screen just one second. Okay. All right, welcome everybody. We do have a dance today. Happy together. That's we're happy when we're together, and we have some movements that were practiced. There are movements in the song. There are movements that were just really good in our hips and our shoulders. You do need a block or something like a block, so a little pillow, a yoga block, a book, Tupperware container, anything this shape would do. We're not going to use it right this minute, but we will have it off to the side. Just wanted to let you know. So when the time comes, you'll have it handy. Oh, how are we feeling today? Okay, thumbs up. Everybody doing all right today? Good. Oh, 2 thumbs up. Very good. So we'll be doing a movement in our pelvic floor, strengthening those muscles. That's part of our core, really important muscle group to help with incontinence issues, right? So getting comfortable, I want everyone to feel their feet flat on the floor. And I want us to notice this area of our shin and our calves. Sometimes this area can get dark, purplish, blue, swollen, achy. And often when we have this different colorization in our legs, we know we've got some circulation issues going on. So we've been sitting a lot, maybe traveling, like we were in the car for 5 hours yesterday. Sometimes if you have varicose veins, especially, that area might get a little swollen and tender. So what we want to do is move them. So right now, scoot back in your chair and start pointing and flexing the feet. So you'll be amazed when you move the feet around like this, how much you get the circulation going. The color goes back to its natural color, and we're not so swollen and achy and have those dark splotches there. So what I suggest really all throughout the year, but especially when it's hot and humid, moving those feet. Good. All right, so we get the color to change, we get the circulation flowing, and we just feel a little better. You probably will have a little less swelling with this as well. And then release the feet to the floor, sit back and close your eyes, hands on your lap. Settle in with that breath through the nose and either out of the nose or the mouth. Good, let's just take 2 more like this. And we think about exhaling, releasing things that worry us, things that are burdensome. Nice. And let's take some shoulder shrugs now. So we'll have our arms beside of us, shrug those shoulders up, really crunch it up there and release. Good. Inhale, crunch it up and release, and inhale, shoulders all the way to the ears. Now let's add a shoulder roll to that. So we're going to shrug up and then roll back and around. Inhale up and exhale back and around, and keep that flowing. Good. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, shrug up, exhale, roll. Good job. 1 more. A little crunch there, and then just hands on your lap and settling in. Again, we can close our eyes. That brings us internal. We just get rid of all the external distraction, and we notice the breath. And we breathe in through the nose as if we're sipping in through a straw. Exhale out of the nose or the mouth, either way. And of course, we're noticing movement in the chest, but where else might you find movement while you breathe? How about in the ribs? Feel those ribs expanding? Feel the belly start to engage with the breath? How about in the back body? Are you feeling any movement between your shoulders when you breathe? The sides of your ribs? So just play with that. See if you can take the breath to different areas of your body. Don't force it, just sort of guide it so the rib cage is really expanding and falling. It's not just the upper chest. We want to take that breath to the lower lobes of the lungs Then everything else starts to move, right? Not just the chest. Also, when we get those ribs moving, we're starting to open up some very tight areas, especially in the back. We have a lot of underutilized lung capacity there. So soften on the exhale. Inhale, open up those tight spaces. Use the breath for that. Good job. And then if you don't have your hands on the lap, go ahead and place them there and then lower the chin towards your chest. So we open and lengthen the back of the neck. Gravity does a lot of compression. It takes things and makes them more narrow. And we want to open the back of the neck. Now slowly take the right ear over the shoulder. Pause there and lower your left shoulder a little bit. Scoop your chin back through center. And then all the way over to the left ear is over its shoulder. And then lower that right shoulder down a bit. Good. Let's take it again. So right ear's over the shoulder. Now the left arm reaches out. We're going to spread those fingers wide and then turn the palm up and the chin up. And then we turn the palm down and the chin nods towards the chest. Good. Inhale, palm up, chin comes up. Now when you roll the wrist and the chin down, where do you feel that stretch? Now this last time as you lift, maybe take a little back arch. And when you round, maybe round forward a little bit more. Good. And then hand to the lap, come up through center tall and take your left ear over the shoulder. Right arm out with the fingers spread. And we're going to lift our chin and the palm and then roll forward. Again, noticing the areas in the shoulder and the inner arm, front of the chest, the neck, all that starting to stretch. Now let's take a nice big arch on that inhale, lift our chin and palm up, and then exhale and round that. So we get that back of the shoulder stretching. And then come back through center with our hands interlaced behind our head. This time lifting the head up, pressing your head into your hands. Just rest them there. Oh, that's a good posterior chain, the front of the body stretching. And then exhale. Let's take this into the tuck of the chin. These are those erector spinae muscles we've been talking about. They start at the back of the head and go all the way the length of the spine. And that's what allows us to sit upright. So let's try that. Sit up nice and tall and erect and lift that occipital ridge bone. Keep that lift and take your arms out and really reach for the wall on either side of you. Here we open and close the fist. So spread those fingers wide and then grip in tight. Feel that gripping sensation. This is good for our fingers, and it's also good for circulation in the hands, like when we move our toes and our feet. We get that same circulation there. So flip the palms up, open and close, move the blood flow all the way out to the tips of the fingers. And let's take the palms up, circle sweep up, look up, palms touch, and we're exhaling the hands to the heart. Well, let's do that one more time. So circle sweeping all the way up, palms touching at the top. And we exhale our hands to the heart. Now here, let's try a little tug of war. Right hand in front, left hand a little closer to you. Hook your fingers together. We're going to relax the shoulders and tug. Tug of war with those arms. Pull out and notice where you feel that. Even label that. What do you feel strengthening? Biceps, triceps, shoulders. Good. Chest. And as you pull out, pull the low belly in and up. So everything's hugging the bone. We're getting strong. And then notice who's winning this tug of war. Is it the right side or is it the left side? Good. And release and shake that all out. Nice job, everybody. We'll crisscross in front here a little bit and just stomp those feet. Beautiful. Okay, let's sit back. Again, we'll take both legs up. Both legs are going to point and flex. Once more, looking at the calf muscle. I like to see it lift and lower. I know it's pumping and it's pushing against that vein, and that means the vein is pushing blood back up to the heart. So that second heart pump doing its job. And let's roll the ankles in one direction at the same time, using the big toe to push an imaginary hand around every digit in that clock. Good. Let's pause and go the other way. Take it around that fullest circle you can. Yeah, you got it. Now we're going to flex the feet and alternate pointing and flexing here. working the core a little bit. And we're going to work it a little bit more in just a moment. But just holding these legs out here, that's working the core, especially the low back. All right. Now let's place our feet on the floor. For more core work, we'll scoot up. And we want space between us and the back of the chair. It doesn't have to be a significant amount of space. You kind of decide on that, and you can adjust once you see what we're doing. We're going to lean back with a straight spine until our shoulder blades touch the chair. So your hands are going to slide along your thigh bone, and that straight spine leans back until we have the chair with our shoulders, and then we're going to use those core muscles to come up. So pull up your pelvic floor, zipper up your abs, and take that little lean back again. Take it slow. We want to use strength, not momentum. Good. And then pull yourself up. This time a little different. We're going to take that left arm out, lean it back. So we have our hand out like someone's going to help us up, but we're going to have to use our own core muscles. Left hand down, right arm up, and we'll slide on back into that lean. And now when we come up, we'll have both arms, hands facing in, ears and shoulders over those hips, and use the core nice and slow, right? This is our substitution for doing sit-ups on the floor. Much better in the chair. We're not straining our neck and our shoulders. Oh, good job. One more time. Coming all the way out. What a great core strengthener. Good job. Now, feet out to the side. We're going to windshield wiper side to side. We just strengthened those front muscles. Now we're going to stretch them out. All right. So we're going to next do another movement for the core. And this is going to be part of our dance today. So I want us to get real familiar with it. All right. So we're going to come back to the center, back to our mountain position, and we'll have our feet right underneath our knees. So let me turn this down a little. Oh, I just about did the splits there, guys. Okay. So come back. All right, into your nice tall position. You got your feet right there underneath your knees, and we're going to be tapping out. So the tap out, think about having a little puddle on either side of your foot. That you don't want to get your foot wet, so you're going to pick up that foot, step on the other side of the puddle, and bring it back in. So you're not just throwing that ankle out there. You're going to pick the whole leg up. See the difference? We want to keep that ankle right underneath our knee. Good. So let's try that again. Up and out to the left. Up and out back in. Good. So that's just the leg. And then we're going to progress and take one cactus arm with the tap out. So it's the left arm and the leg and the right arm and the leg. Let's do that one more time. Picking that foot up and bringing it back in. Think of a little rainbow arc with that foot. Now we're going to take both arms with that one leg. So one leg, we're going to open up. So here's a nice shoulder and hip movements. Let's do that again. One leg with the cactus arms. Good work. And bring it in. All right, shake it up. So that wasn't too challenging. I think we've got all of that. But we do have a little more complicated part to this. And that is where we add on a little bit of a side oblique core crunch. So we'll do our tap out with that left leg out. The right arm will be in cactus. This left hand can hold on to the chair. Here's where we take that straight spine and turn and twist toward that lifted knee. We're going to use our core, pull it in and up, and lift that knee. We don't have to touch the elbow in the knee. We're going to turn toward the knee. Good. One more. Feel that inner thigh. Good job. Now we're going to tap the left foot back in and tap the right foot out. Good. Left arm comes to cactus. Right hand just holds onto the chair. And we're going to exhale, inhale. Good. Notice your inner thigh. That's job is to cross this knee across the midline. And this wraps up to the pelvic floor. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Good. We'll do two more like that. Exhaling as we twist. And then we'll tap this foot right back in. Oh, nice. Okay. Let's alternate lifting one knee in to our nose Feel that stretch. And the other leg to our nose. Now, anyone who has low back issues, the best thing to do is exercise, especially bending. So if you can reach down and touch your toes, but that's not for everybody. So we can also do this seated and bring the knee up to the nose. And if you're in bed, you can bring both knees in. And that really does stretch the low back and starts to get things more pliable again. Anything where you're kind of just tucking that tail under and bringing the knee into the chest will stretch the lumbar spine. Good. Let's finish it off here. So that's right there where, right, like where your hip pockets are. We want to get above that space between your pelvis and your rib. We'll take the wider stance. The left hand, not on the knee, but on the thigh bone, with that straight left arm. Crisscross your left shoulder to the right knee and peek at the toes. That's the quadratus lumborum, right above the where we were just stretching. Good. Now let's come through center and we'll take the right shoulder across. Isn't that feeling really nice there? We want to be doing this stretch every day, especially if we have low back issues. Nice. Now we're going to come back through and take that left shoulder over and reach the left arm. There's something we really want. We're going to wiggle those fingers and breathe into the side body. So the shoulder and the hip all connected through fascia. Now let's go the other way. So take that right arm out and wiggle it and stretch it and breathe. So we're lengthening and stretching and breathing. Now we're going to add on to this. So we're going to reach the left arm out, grab an apple, bring it into our shoulder, turn and drop it in a basket over your shoulder. Stay with that left arm, reach across, grab it in and drop it. And one more time on this left hand side. And then right arm reaches across the midline, comes to center and drops behind. So we get that lovely rotation. So good for the back to turn this way while we're stretching, while we're breathing, right? Not holding our breath ever. Good job. Now let's bring those feet back into center. So how many of us have shoulder issues? I know, me too. We want to be real careful with this one because we're going to be working in the rotator cuff. So a lot of us have shoulder issues in our dominant arms simply because we just use them so much. So a lot of what we have is probably repetitive injury, just habitual picking things up on the same side, loading it up with bags and things like that, favoring one side over the other, pushing yourself up. You'd be amazed if you really paid attention to it, how much you load up onto that dominant side. So if you have an injury, be real careful, but we're going to take that left arm out, turn our palm up, and then palm down and up again. So we're externally and internally rotating that humerus head in its socket. That's the ball and socket joint. It's a synovial joint, so it has synovial fluid, but you've got to roll around like this for it to be released. So just like we roll around in our ankle, we're going to roll around in this shoulder, and we might hear some popping and clicking and crunching. That's okay. We want to smooth through that. If there's pain, you can make it smaller or even stop. All the other business, we just smooth into that. Good. Now let's take the opposite arm out. The palm is up. Let's roll it down and roll it up. Good. So it's, again, the ball and socket, the synovial fluid in its capsule, just waiting for you to do moves like this. And we'll talk about where that fluid comes from, by the way. Roll that. We take that fluid for granted. Roll it, smooth into it, and maybe just notice a difference between right side and left side. Good job. All right, relax that. Now, the hitchhiker is one we do for the shoulder. We do for our posture. It's a really great one to revisit. The left hitchhiker thumb out. Now, we're going to do this a little differently today because it's part of our dance. We're going to open up one finger, curling away from the palm at a time. And then we pull that arm as far back as we comfortably can. Push through the heel of the hand and pull your fingernails back toward your forearm, and then come back in one finger at a time, pinky, ring, middle, and thumb. All right, from there, we switch sides. So right thumb up and pull that out one at a time. Now, this is a super intense stretch. When we pull those fingernails back and push through the heel of the hand, notice the inner arm, the bicep, and then bring it back in. Good. So you just want to pull that back to your comfort level and feel that stretch. Now, we're going to add on. So this is the Happy Together dance by the Turtles. And we're going to add into that hitchhiker, the Scarlett O'Hara. So I want you to think back to Gone with the Wind and remember she was so overwhelmed with the vapors half the time, right? So she says, oh, Rhett, and then drop that shoulder. So back of the hand. Oh my goodness, it's just so hot, isn't it? Arm up and drop it. To her favor, they did have to wear a lot of clothes in the heat of Georgia, right? In August. Lift up and lower and lift. Good. This is good for the shoulder. And we put the two together. So we take, and it goes right with the music. So we take it all the way back. All right, this is where you push through the heel of the hand and then you go right into that Scarlett. You put your hand on the back of your head and you drop it. And then it's the right arm pulls back one finger at a time, as far as you comfortably can. It's real slow. And then bring the back of the hand to your forehead and drop it down with gravity. All right, then the last part, we have me and you for me. And then we'll take our elbow kisses, no matter how we toss the dice. It has to be the only one for me is you and you for me. And then we have our happy dance. So happy together. All right. So I kind of segmented it. So I wanted to put it all together for you. And we're going to go through each little step. So when I turn the music on, you're at least familiar with what we're going to do. So it starts with a little instrumental and it's just this little sneaky creep. So like you're creeping up on someone, sneaking up, you got the opposite hand and the opposite foot. Yeah, like a little cat burglar right there, sneaking up. All right. Then we're going to start with that tap out. So I'm going to say left leg out. So it'll be left leg and right leg. And then we're going to progress one arm, one leg. Okay. And then we'll progress to two arms and one leg. There we go. And then happy together. Good job. We're going to repeat that. And then we have hitchhiker and Scarlett on both sides and Scarlett. And then me and you and me, no matter how they toss the dice. It has to be the only one for me is you and you for me. So happy together. Good. And then we're going to take the Scarlett again, and then we'll do it with both hands. But instead of the Scarlett, we'll take a big hug around and pull in. And you don't have to remember this. I'm going to cue you. All right. So all the way out, pull that out, and a big hug and pull in. Good. And then we go all the way through. We go back through the legs. I'll cue that. The only thing that changes at this point is we're going to take that arm and leg 4 times like we practiced. Good. And then we'll take it to the other side, tap out, crisscross. Good job. And then toward the very end, we just do that big hug and pull in without the hitchhiker. Hug and pull in. All right, so now you're familiar with everything. I will cue you through it. Let's sit at the edge of your chair so you have more than enough room to maneuver around. And drink your water so you're hydrated because we're going to be moving. Anything that doesn't feel good in your body, make smaller or just make an alternative move. But here we go, dancing to the Happy Together by the Turtles. And I don't know what year this came out. I would guess the 60s or the 70s, but I don't know for sure. But go ahead and do your little sneaky dance right now. All right, get ready. Left leg. Ready? Right. One arm. 2 arms. Happy. Let me do that one more time. Left leg. One arm. Two arms. Happy. You ready? Left hitchhiker. Here we go. Ready, go. Pull it all the way back. Charlotte. Right arm. Pull it back. Charlotte. Here we go. Elbows. No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be the only one for me is you, and you for me. Happy. So happy together. Left arm hitchhiker. Here we go. Pull it back. Carolyn. Drop it. Right. Pull it back. Charlotte. Drop. No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be the only one for me is you, and you for me. Happy. So happy together. All right, both arms. Here you go, both arms. Pull back, now hug. Two arms. Pull it back. Up and down, hug. Arms. No matter how they toss the dice, it had to be two arms. The only one for me is you, and you for me. Happy cactus. So happy together. So happy together. Legs out. And how is the world? Left arm, left arm. Ready? Crisscross. Go. 4. 3. We're happy together. 2. 1. Right arm. 4, 3, 2. Good. Big smile, big toe, curls. Put it in. So you can kick it a little, yeah? Oh, arms down. Yay! Good job. That's a fun one. I hope you like that one. All right. Grab your water. Excellent work, dancing. That was a little quick transition, but that's good for us. It's good for our brains to hear those cues. Learning that choreography is fantastic for memory. Patterning like that, working those shoulders, so healthy for us. Healthy for our brains. Good job. All right. What do you think? There were a lot of patterns in that one. Gets the heart rate up, and there's a lot of good shoulder movement in that. So undulating, what does that mean? It just means to move. Good. So let's undulate through those shoulders. We're so loose right now after all that. So we'll take advantage of it. Shoulders are rolling back where we want them. Opening up the chest. Good. All right, let's sit back in our mountain pose. Just rest a bit. That was a nice activity. Breathing here. I know our heart rates went up a little bit, so we settle in and bring it all back down again. And since we're slowing things down, let's do some hand movement for arthritis. So we'll take our left hand, starfish the hand, push forward, and then cat claw back in. So grab something in, and then pushes out and pull slow back in like a cat's claw. Good. Starfish out, claw your way back in, and then the right hand comes up with that high five, pushing out, and then grip in. Good. So moving, opening, closing, you're moving the fascia. You are stretching it, tugging it, pulling it. Good job. Let's do one more. Stretch it out there and grab it and pull it in, and then shake it out a little. Nice. So while we're cooling things down, I'd like for us to open up our side bodies, which is so important for the health of our back, and to take a deeper breath. So we're going to take those legs out wide. Place your left leg on the chair. The right hand, hold onto your chair. The right knee points down in any place that feels best for you. You may tuck your toes on the right foot or come to the top of the foot. So a lot of options, just explore what feels best. The right hand is on our shoulder. Now here we're going to dip. So the right elbow goes to the hip and the hip flips up to the elbow. Now drop the hip a little bit and lift your elbow up and lean toward the back of your chair. And then inhale, contract, exhale, and lengthen. And we're going to take this up and down a few times. Such an important muscle to stretch, the quadratus lumborum. It's that muscle that hikes up the hip, and it's located between your lowest rib and your hip bone in your pelvis. And this one can get very tight and causes a lot of back issues. It also helps to support where our pelvis and sacrum meet, our SI joint. So this is a very healthy one you can do every day. Very good when that low back gets tight. Now, let's go ahead and lift the arm. You can stay here. You can reach toward the ceiling or kind of out in front of you at 45 degrees. Sort of round your back a little bit. Just wiggle those fingers. And this is great for the health of our backs. I'm going to side stretch every day. Now let's come back to center and switch it to the other side. So we have just that right thigh on the chair and the left knee pointing down. We'll hang on with our right hand. Our left hand touches the shoulder. Same thing. You can tuck your toes like a little kickstand or come to the top of your left foot. And now we'll lift the elbow to the hip and the hip to the elbow. Good. And then the elbow lifts. Good. And then lower. Inhale, contract. Exhale, we stretch toward the back of the chair. So we're kind of taking a little half moon side to side. Exhale into that long stretch. And then inhale, contract it. And then reach the arm up or out a bit like a 45-degree angle. Lean, wiggle, get that whole different muscle group there. So from your shoulder to your hip, it's all connected with connective tissue. Nice. Now let's come back through center. The feet at the legs of the chair. And when we open and close legs like this, we're using the inner thigh muscles. Those are your adductors. They're part of our core. Mostly we think about core as being these lower abdominal muscles, but your inner thighs, believe it or not, are part of your core. And that wraps up and supports the pelvic floor. So if we have issues with incontinence, we want to be strengthening that pelvic floor, strengthening the inner thighs. All right, so let's take our hands to the inside of the thighs and resist your hands. So try to push your knees in, arms press out, and we want you to really feel those inner thighs strengthen, right? We honestly don't use these muscles very much, but we want them nice and strong so they will support the pelvic floor. And again, just part of the core. Nice. Now let's grab that block, or if you have a book or a little pillow, anything like this Tupperware container will suffice. And we're just going to take that between our knees and hug that block. So give it a good squeeze with your legs, those inner thighs, and then kind of relax that. Squeeze and relax. Squeeze and release. Good. So if we want to strengthen the pelvic floor, we can easily do that by strengthening these inner thighs. All you have to do is hug the block. You don't need weights. If you have a little pillow, a towel, anything, soft ball, anything like that that you can just hug there will work. Now, I'm going to give us the option of using this block during our sun salutations. Every now and again, I pull it out for this, and people are always amazed at how much support you get when you hug the block and use more of your inner thighs than you normally would, right? We normally don't think about engaging them. And that's why they get weak, honestly. So stop your pulses, just relax here. You may remove this block. You don't have to use it, but if you want to give it a try, using those blocks with our sun sals, let's go ahead and try that. Now you could put it off to the side and just wait and use it while we do our blast offs. That would work as well. You don't have to use it at all. So if you're just curious, you can use it for a while and it gets strenuous. You will really engage more muscles than you're used to. You feel like you just want to put it off and do a couple, that's fine. So lots of options, but we're going to use this here if you like, and inhale our arms, reaching up to cactus with a little hug of that block with our thighs. And then we're going to find those cactus arms. Take a breath. Elbows back, and we'll hinge forward. And right away, noticing even just this hinge a little different with hugging that block. Take a breath, hands to your kneecaps, and exhale, forward fold. Now, hugging that block, we're going to come up halfway into a back arch and squeeze our shoulders. And then we'll exhale and fold. Right arm is going to look up. Spread the fingers, look up there, release it, and left arm reaches up. Spread those fingers and release. Now let's inhale, power up, palms will touch, and we'll bring our hands back to the heart. We're still hugging on that block if it's there. So we inhale up, take that cactus lean, breathe in, hands to the knees, slide into forward fold, inhale up halfway, exhale folding, and here's where that left arm comes up first. And release it, and then the right arm. Release it. Inhale, use your core and those inner thighs and power up. Hands to your heart. Those thighs are getting a little tired. Anytime you want to release that block, you can. Arms up. Take that lean. Oh, there's that back strengthener right there. Now hands to your kneecaps, forward fold. Inhale it up halfway and squeeze and look up. Exhale and fold. Good. Right arm up first. Release it, and then left arm up. Good. Inhale, powers us up. We're going to change it up a little bit. So palms touch overhead. We're going to come to cactus, but we're going to lower in that bellows breath. So curl into cat. Touch elbows and fingers. Inhale, lift up, lift those elbows, lift the heart. Exhale, round it back in. Now let's come back up through cactus. Take a breath. Exhale, we twist to the left. Inhale, center, and twist right. Oh, nice. Again, like an eagle's wing. Open up and then swoop in. Good job. Inhale, open. This one's great. It works with the vagus nerve and helps us not be depressed and have anxiety, this movement. Yeah, love it. Now here, interlace all the fingers except for your index finger and thumb. Reach for the ceiling and then lean to your left. Good. Inhale again, axial extension, get pulled to your tallest height and lean to your right. Oh, fabulous. Now here, we're just going to take those arms and shoulder plug all the way in. Good job. Now release your arms. We're going to cross one arm in front of the other. Come on up. Exhale, like you're doing a little forward fold. You're just going to tap your hands. Inhale up and then release one arm on top of the other. Good. And then arms out to a T, and then in front of us, leaning forward. So palms face together, toes down, heels up. Good, really lean. Now heels down, arms up, and hands to prayer. I'm going to do that again. So arms reach overhead. We're going to hug those elbows to the rib cage. Lower those arms. Now this time we're going to turn to the left. So cross one arm over, hug that block, tap your hands, arms come up through center, release the hands, and then turn right. One arm on top, lean, tap your hands together, come up through center. Now we're going to lower those arms out to shoulders height, lift up there, and then arms out in front. Oh, we're coming forward. Heels down, toes up, spread those toes. Core and back getting strong as we lean. Hugging that block. Now toes release, arms overhead, hands to the heart. Last one's like the first one. So arms up. Take that little lean forward. Hands to your kneecaps. Forward fold. Inhaling up halfway. Yes. Exhale, fold. Let's take left arm up first and release it. Then the right arm. Good job. Now big swoop takes us back up. We're going to reach up and look up. And then exhale the hands to the heart. Oh my goodness. Let's just release that block and a little warm. Let's cool down before our blast offs, right? So I want us to see if we are hydrated. How do we tell? We go to the back of our hand. Remember this one? We're going to pinch a little bit of skin. So pull some skin up off your hand. Release it, If it goes right back down, means you've got pretty decent hydration. If it stays up there a little while and takes its time coming down, you may need some more water. You might actually be dehydrated. So you can try it again, lift it up there and release it. We want to be drinking before we're thirsty so we don't get hydrated. It's still warm. We're entering cooler months. Got to make sure as it cools off, we're still drinking that water. Why? The synovial fluid I talk about in our joints comes from the water we drink. So make sure you have a lot of water flowing in your body. All right, we want to hydrate those joints 2 ways, by big macro movements like we do in the sun salutations, and also your water intake. So I know not everybody likes drinking water. If you don't like cold water, let's room temperature water, but keep drinking that water. All right. I want us to try, if you would like, to use that block with the blast off. That's going to be a little extra work. If you try one and you don't like it, you can always take it out. We're going to try 8 of them because it's going to be a little extra muscular engagement. You can swing your arms to help you up. You can lean forward, or if you want a nice challenge, you can crisscross. Say you don't want to come up at all, but you want to play along with everybody else. You'll squeeze those glutes in that walk when we stand up and release it when we sit down. All right, so everybody has something to do. I just want all of us to have our ankles right on our knees, even if you're staying in your chair and squeezing. Those of us coming up, those are going to be what's powering this up. All right, so we're going to hug that block and do 8 blast offs. Here we go. 8, 7, 6. You might find it's a little bit easier with the support of the inner thighs. 5. We don't normally call on them, so we have more 4 muscles kicking in to get us upright. 3, 2, 1. Don't forget our blast off. So everybody comes up and says, blast off. Good job. Release that. Take that block to the side. So how many of you, just curious, use the block and enjoyed having that extra support? Yeah, it's just nice, isn't it? Feel like you got a little extra boost. Okay, how about a couple of windshield wipers just to stretch? That's going to stretch that inner thigh too. Oh, goodness, that was a little more work for us than usual. That's good stuff. Okay. Now, we're going to get into some footsie stuff and calm down a little bit more. So we'll take our feet out in front of us and the right foot. Oh, I know this is not a big crowd pleaser, but we're going to put the top of the foot on the floor. You control how much pressure. And then if possible, roll from the big toe to the pinky toe. You might find that big toe is kind of sensitive. So if it's painful there, just ease up how much pressure you put. Stretching the top of the foot, it can be a lot of sensation, but it's kind of a hurt so good kind of situation. Not pain, just kind of burning stretching, right? Dull, achy, that's what we're going for. Know the difference between sensation and pain, right? We're going for sensation. Let's go to the other side. Anything painful you do not have to do. Do not suffer in silence and pain, please. Now, rolling to side very gently. You choose the pressure. We feel it in the front of the foot, but this is actually connecting into your plantar fascia. So if you're one that has that tight, dense, thick fascia at the arch of your foot, this helps loosen that up a little bit. Stretching the front of the foot, it's all connected. Good. Now, we're going to place the big toes together, the heels together, and just roll onto the pinky side. Lift your big toe up and feel the stretch on that outer ankle there. This helps us not sprain our ankles. Lift the big toe ball mound and the inner heel off the floor as high as you can. Now, let's go the other way. We're going to place our knees together, the big toe side down, but lift that pinky side. And that's kind of a strengthening there, right? The stretching, tugging, and pulling. This is kind of stretching the inside, but really working the outside. This helps us not sprain an ankle. Good. All right, we're ready to stand up for a little bit. So let's use the back of our chairs and come on up. Back of my chair is a little higher than I'm used to. So you do the best with what you've got in your home. And we'll use the back of the chair to help support us. Sorry, you can't see my whole body, but we'll just do the best we can with what we've got here. And when we set ourselves up, we can peek at our feet, just like when we're seated. We want those feet pretty parallel to each other. And then we're going to come up onto the tippy toes. So let's lift the heels off the floor. You're standing on the toe ball now. And then rock to your heel and bring those toes up. Nice. Now this time when you come up to the tippy toes, right arm lifts up with your palm facing in. And then we're going to release the hand and the heels and then lift the toes up and peek at them. So you're stretching the back of your neck. And then come back to your toes with that left arm lifted. Very well done. And then we rock to our heels, look down, toes up and stretch. And then come to center and just shake those legs out. Good job. All right, moving on from here. We have got our warrior pose. So right foot at the leg of the chair, left foot steps back. That left foot's at a little 45-degree angle. The key with this is the right knee tracks your second and third toe, and you want to see your right big toe so that your knee's protected. Then your left arm comes to cactus. Take your time, maybe that right arm too. And then like we did earlier, arms are going to come overhead. So take the elbows up, maybe touch those thumbs at the top, and then slowly lower down to wherever you can. Maybe the elbows touching the ribs. Good, the shoulder placement. Inhale, thumbs overhead. Extend at the top, and then lower down. Come on down, and we're going to do some core strengthening. So elbows to your ribs, and then pull those hands out in front of you. Good job. And then from here, take them out to airplane wings and lean forward. So you're leaning into that front leg. You got it. Now that creates strength. We hold that and then take your palms face in if that suits you. A little more weight. And then we're going to take that beach ball up and overhead. Nice. A little more strengthening. We're going to place our hands on our chair. Elbows in so they brush your ribs, and a little push up now. Use your upper body weight to strengthen your forearms and those humerus bones. So if we fall, we don't break an arm. Good. One more. So much easier than in the plank position, right? So let's step that forward, shake it out, and opposite. So left foot at the chair and the right foot steps back. So be sure to see your left big toe. We're going to take the right arm to cactus and maybe the left one, but you can hold on if you need to. One hand can be on the chair. Now, like we did in that dance, we're going to hug a big tree, and then we're going to pull in with light fists. Good. Round your back, stretch right between your shoulders. Yeah, that should feel good. And then pull in. Now, elbows in. It's like you're hugging a tray. We're going to take those arms out to the sides, open up, palms up and palms down, palms up and down. And then we lean forward and take that beach ball out in front. Good. Beach ball overhead. And then we'll take our hands to the chair and take those little leans forward. So this is the opposite of what we're doing. We took the core and we went backwards. Now we're weight bearing on our arms. So we can do a lot of nice bone strengthening with body weight. Good. Now let's come on up. Let's shake out those legs. Great work. Anybody walk? Walkers here like to do walking practice? Yeah, me too. Tried to walk every single day now. So in addition to everything else I do, walking is just so healthy. But sometimes when we come back after a walk, we might feel a little hip pain. So I want to show you a movement that's wonderful for walkers. So, or even if you don't walk, take your right knee and if you can, move it around in a figure 8 figuration. So 2 circles connected at the middle, roll it around there. I like this one. In class, we take our hips sideways, we circle around, but we don't do this interesting angle a whole lot. So we take that right knee and we swoop it around in that figure 8 infinity shape. And this helps a lot if we have pain after walking. It just helps kind of smooth through it, get that synovial fluid going. Yeah, stretches it out. Now let's release that and bend the left knee and try some figure 8s with that left knee. So if you have or you need a hip replacement, always very, very careful with these movements. You can skip anything or make them nice and small. Good job. Now we're going to march it out. So put those feet down. Place your hands right in front there where your hip flexors are, and we're just going to march. Sometimes right there in front of the hip can get tight and crampy, and a good march will help stretch that out. Okay, excellent work. Let's stand by our chair, the left hand out and the right toe back for our balance, glute and back strength. Switch sides, right hand, left foot. Good work. And then turn toward me. We're going to have a left cactus arm, a right foot, like we were doing in the chair. We're going to crisscross and then extend out with that. We'll add that. Crisscross, extend. Now this third one, hold. 4, 3, 2, 1, and extend out right there. Good job, and release it. Take your chair to the other side or walk around your chair. We're going to switch it. So this time, right arm, left leg, you'll have your chair. And then we'll bring the knee toward the elbow, and you can hover your foot or tap it. But we don't worry about rounding our back and touching the elbow and knee. We just head toward it. Now this one we hold for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then release out. Good job. That's falling star. And release that and shake it. All right. Now heels in, toes out with feet spread right underneath those shoulders. We'll bend our right knee and place the fingers down. If that's painful, you can always parallel your feet, but I find heels in, toes out a little more comfortable. Now that right hand with the fingers pointing down, we're going to bend that right knee, twirl it around our head, and then flick the fingers and straighten the leg. So take it around like you have wet hands, flick and twirl the halo and flip. Now let's do left hand, fingers point down, bend the knee, see if you can get that arm around your head and straighten your leg. Good. Bend the knee, flick, and one more. Bend and flick. Now both arms out and point those fingers down. We'll alternate. Right arm, straighten the arm and leg. Bend left, straighten. So good for the knees, the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, all those joints. We have to move them. Good job to strengthen them and lubricate them. Oh, now we're going to get super tricky, and both knees and both around the head. Oh my goodness. Alternate that arm on top. 2 more, down and up. And last one. Great work. Release that. Let's come back to our chairs. Oh, fabulous job with that. We have really gotten in a lot of joint work today, which we do a lot of times, but today we did extra, and that was great. Okay, let's take this into our hamstring stretch. We're going to take our right leg out in front of us, just hinging forward. That foot is flexed. Reach for the toes. Try to keep your back nice and straight and not tuck your chin. And even here with your foot flexed, try to line up your big toe over your ankle bone so it's not turning out. Good. Now we're going to come on up. You can put your right ankle in front of the left, or maybe cross it here at your thigh if that's in your range of motion. Flexing your left foot, shoulders back, and we'll hinge forward a little bit. A couple of breaths here. The breaths are really long. And we're letting go of all the stress. Good. Nice job. We're going to ground through that left foot. Arms to cactus, release our right foot and kick out. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Left leg coming out. We're going to hinge forward. Good. And again, line up the big toe right over the ankle. Stretch here and breathe. Super job. Coming all the way back up. It's fine to cross one ankle over the other. Or if we're able, we take it right there to the thigh, flex our foot, hinging forward as if your chest is pulling through your shoulders. Keeping our chins up. Feel that in the piriformis, the gluteals, the hip, the low back, maybe even into the inner thigh. Good stretch there around that hip. Good. And coming on up. We'll take those soccer kicks. 1 and good job. Let's take a little twist over to our right shoulder. We want to make sure we're drinking our water before we exercise. It lubricates all the disc of our back, all of our joints. Go to the other side. We get so many more benefits when we drink water before we exercise. Good. So make sure you're drinking before you come to yoga class. We'll inhale, arms overhead. Thank you so much for joining today. Hands to the heart space. I hope you have an amazing rest of this day. Be well, and we'll see you again soon, guys. Take good care. Bye-bye.
Bye, Mandy. Have a good weekend.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Attention.